Hello, everyone. Welcome to Claret and Booze. My name's Nick. This is a daily ramble. It's Friday. We made it. However, the weather outside is bleak, which suits the mood from a football perspective of most West Ham fans. Let's face it. It's quite fitting, really. As always, if you're new to the channel, please subscribe and drop a like on the video. Does really help. Okay, so I'm going to touch on the ongoing situation, and I'm going to give my thoughts on things as well, because, I've been having conversations back and forth about, West Ham, where we're going, and I've been getting loads of different perspectives from people. And when it comes to this point, when I get frustrated with a new manager, I always start getting excited again about what's going to happen next. It happened with Moyes. I've definitely been quoted as saying anyone would be better. Anyone will be better than Moyes. Moyes is definitely an issue. Lopetegui is definitely an issue. But, the main issue will always be Sullivan. He's the reason why we end up with these managers in the first place, let's face it. And when he does get hold of someone who is good at their job and somebody who could change the direction of West Ham for the better, he messes it up. And I'm referring to Tim Steidten here, because I do get the impression now, when you look at the behaviour of Tim in the media, that he's out there for self-preservation now. He's in a job which is probably, he's earning double what he was earning before. He's not going to walk away from it. I'm sure he came here with the best intentions. He's definitely talented. His record speaks for itself. And he came here because he thought he was going to be given the reins to drive a project and help transform West Ham from a sleeping giant and awaken the sleeping giant, and he was going to be integral to that. But I just think it's become clear to Tim that he's never going to get that power. He's never going to be able to affect any change at West Ham. Therefore, I think what we're seeing play out is a bloke who's gone, do you know what, fuck it. I'm not walking away. I'm not walking away from this salary. And, you're all on a take. No one gives a shit about West Ham. Neither do I. I'm just going to do what I want as well. That's the impression that I get. I don't really blame him for it. I don't. I just feel like it's another mismanaged situation by Sullivan. He brought this guy in on a lie, as far as I'm concerned. How can a director of football not be given full control of transfers and not be allowed to choose his own coach? How can that even be? And then we move on to Lopetegui. Now, Lopetegui, I never rated him, never wanted him. Yes, I did list him, as has been pointed out on Twitter, when I was having a debate with someone when Moyes was here, and they said, well, who are you going to get? Who are you going to get? I listed a load of available managers. Lopetegui was on that list. That was before I actually looked at him, to be quite honest. But I never said that this was someone that I wanted. The same as now. People are talking about Terzic. I've mentioned Terzic before. But now I've looked into him. I don't want him. He's another pragmatist. And it isn't just that they're pragmatic, right? I don't know that much about Terzic, but from what you when you read up on Lopetegui, it's like, how could you possibly go for this guy? He's got one way of playing. One way. There was an analysis done on Analytics United with Jack Elderton and Charlie, who used to be on Hammers Chat. And he just completely pulled him apart. And it shows you that he did the same thing at Wolves as well. This isn't a West Ham thing. The guy has one way of playing. So look, if you're going to bring in such a limited manager, a guy who isn't flexible, a guy who can only play one way, then surely you've got to go out and at least just go and buy him a load of players that will help him deliver that one tactic that he's got, just to give him the best chance of success. We haven't done that either. There's been no pattern. There's been no strategy to our transfer window. A lot of people were going on saying, oh, it's great. What a wonderful transfer window. I got carried away when we brought Todibo in. I thought this could go down as our best transfer window ever. You do. You get excited when players come in. But you can't judge a transfer window until a season has played out, because the only thing that can justify, that could label a transfer window as brilliant, is if all of the players that you bring in fit a system and are useful to that club. If they all fit a vision, I'm not too sure that they do. I don't think we're any better off. I feel like we're worse off than we were last year. I genuinely do. We're no better defensively. I feel like we've got better defenders in Todibo and Kilman, but we're no better defensively. We're just not. We're leaking more goals than we did last year. Good players. People are going, Areola's crap, you got to get him out. This is a bloke who was on the verge of getting a Hammer of the Year a little while ago. He got Player of the Year for Swansea. This is not a crap keeper. You know, there are players in this squad that are looking terrible. And if you watch that, it's quite a short, sharp analysis. It shows you why Paqueta's struggling as well. It does. It shows you why should it be such a big deal for a player to lose the ball so far from goal? But the issue is we're being set up in such a way whereby the second we lose a goal, we've committed so many bodies forward that in transition we're exposed. So Bowen did it twice. The same as Paqueta. But obviously it's polarised when Paqueta does it because he's wasteful. Paqueta's useless. But, you know, the 2 times that Paqueta did lose a ball, it was a bit of a hospital ball from Emerson. Stupid pass. And the other one was a long hoof from Areola to Paqueta, where he had 2 players up his arse. And they pounced on him. He had 2 or 3 players around him. That was him losing the ball. And then he gets the finger pointed at him. But it isn't just him. There's loads of others as well. The point is, this system that we're playing, we don't have the personnel to fulfill it. I don't even think that this system is suitable for the Premier League. When you look at how it's been broken down, you think this is ridiculous. I don't think it matters what players you had. I don't think that would work anyway. But it is true. There's been no strategy to our recruitment. I mean, to go from Duran to Füllkrug is the big one. How can there possibly be a strategy if you can go from one extreme to another in such a key position? The same with right back. This man needs wing backs. So we've gone out and bought the best defensive right back as opposed to Kyle Walker-Peters and Maserati, who are definitive wing backs. We've gone out and bought Aaron Wan-Bissaka, who is a fullback, and we're playing him as a wing back. He'll do a decent job, as I've already said. But we brought in a manager whose style isn't going to complement the great players that we've already got. We're seeing Bowen go from, you know, a 20-goal a season player down to someone who probably looks like they're going to score 7 or 10 if you're lucky. He's not the same player. Kudus isn't going to score as many goals. He's on his weakest side. He'll score a couple. He ain't going to score many. He's not going to be that goal threat that he was last season. So the whole thing is a complete mess. So what I'm saying is in this, you can't even really blame Lopetegui. He was a wrong man. He was a wrong man that was brought into the job, and I don't even think that he's been given the tools to do his job properly, even though I don't think he would succeed anyway, because this one tactic that he's got is massively flawed. And the fact that he can't see it is alarming, to be quite honest. But I think maybe Lopetegui's arrived at the same point. Lopetegui now is probably at the point now where he's thinking, do you know what, this ain't for me, I want to be paid off. Probably the same as Tim, I would imagine now at this stage. Because Sullivan is an issue. And I do get what people say. They say, you know, you can't, nothing's ever going to change under Sullivan. You know, Sullivan out, Brady out. Yeah, that's fine. Everyone wants Sullivan and Brady out. You ain't going to get him out. He ain't going to leave. Because he knows how to survive at a football club where 90% of people only care about what happens on the pitch. When it all comes on top, and it will happen this time around as well, if we have a dreadful period up to Christmas and it gets worse, protests start up again. You'll have 10,000 people protesting. There'll be online protests. There'll be this, that, the other. He'll go out and get a half exciting manager for a few months, and he'll go and buy a player that we all like. We'll have maybe 3 weeks, 4 weeks of good football, and everyone will forget about it, and they'll stop protesting. Sullivan knows how to survive at West Ham because he's been here this long. These protests never last that long. He just milks it for all he can, and when he needs to react and he needs to do something, he does it every time. And we don't really believe what we're saying, because if we did, it wouldn't matter what the results were on the pitch. We would just keep protesting for it. But we're not. We're being spoilt. We're being petulant. We only complain when things ain't going well on the football pitch. That's the long and short of it. And it's the same for all the channels that are now banging on about Sullivan. You don't hear them talking about Sullivan when we're winning. So it's the same thing. You know, ultimately we all want him gone, but we only complain when things are not going well on the pitch. And I'm sure he'll pull it out the bag again. He will. We'll have a sticky and plaster job. It will happen. But moving on to the managerial situation. So obviously I gave you a little bit of a teaser the other day about a Premier League manager that we're linked with, that we're still linked with, by the way. That list has grown bigger. It has. And I got some news through the other day that made me fall off my chair as well. Really top level, high level manager. And the news of the number 2 that could be coming in was even more exciting. But then you sat there and you're thinking to yourself, do you know what? I don't believe it. And it isn't the person that I talk to. Look, it isn't I don't believe you. I do believe you. You know, I know you do your best to bring the right people to West Ham. But I just don't believe that Sullivan's going to act. I don't believe he will. I think we'll need to be in the bottom three for a period of time before he does anything. I don't think he'll do anything. I don't. Lopetegui was lined up 5 months, 6 months before he came in. And if Moyes had have picked it up towards the end of the season, he'd have probably stayed, wouldn't he? He probably would have stayed. This is where my mindset's at now. He's making plans at the moment for plan Bs. That's what he's doing. He's making plans and lining up other managers if it continues to go bad for Lopetegui. But Sullivan's bad and our bad are two completely different things. You know, it will need to be to the point of where it's almost irrecoverable before Sullivan considers it bad. That's what it will need to be. He's not going to act. I think the recruitment that we made in the summer now, when you look at it on the face of it, has not been good. Have we improved as a football team? We spent all that money. We kept our best players and we've added, £150 million of talent on top of that. Are we better? We're not. We're worse. So has it been a good window? Definitively not. We're not a better team as a result of it. So it was not a good window. It's as simple as that. If you spend that much money and you build on what you had before, you should be better, shouldn't you? We're not better. He's fucked it all up. He's brought Tim in. He's messed that up. He's brought in the wrong manager, who is a bad manager, and hasn't even given them the tools to do the best that they can do. That's another fuck up. You've got a freeway media, embarrassing media war going on between Sullivan, Loppe and Tim, who only care about their own, it's all about their own self-interests, trying to protect their own reputations in public. They don't care about West Ham. This whole thing is damaging to West Ham. And when it comes down to bringing in another manager, I'm starting to even worry about that. Some of the names that have been linked and are interested in that job. When it gets to the point where Sullivan's going to talk to him, because we've been there before. We've spoken to some top managers before, but Sullivan, he knackers it every step of the way. And this is why we end up with grateful managers, because Sullivan isn't good at selling ambition because he doesn't have any. So a top manager will want to come into West Ham and a top manager will say, okay, I'll come to West Ham, but I want to achieve this. What are you going to do for me? What tools are you going to give me to ensure that I can do the best that I can do at this club? Sullivan don't want to hear that. Sullivan doesn't think that he should have to sell anything. He's the chairman. You're coming to work for West Ham. That's why we end up with shitter managers that are grateful for an opportunity. Managers that maybe are experienced, as he calls them. It's not experienced. It's damaged goods. Managers that have fallen off and need to rebuild their reputations, that are going to be grateful for an opportunity and be subservient to a wonderful little Bond villain fucker who's going to be sitting over him and will take whatever shit he throws at him. That is what Sullivan wants. That's what he means by experience. He don't want ambition. He don't want to have to appease anyone. He doesn't want that. He just wants to exist in the Premier League, buying players that he wants to fucking buy with his mates, his little agent mates, and he wants a manager just to basically be professional but ambitionless and driven. So, you know, that probably does describe David Moyes, because not much talent there as a manager, not much ambition as a manager, I don't believe. He'll just do what you pay him to do. He'll take what you throw at him and he'll just crack on. And I just think that that is a mould of manager that David Sullivan likes. And that's why experience is key. It's not experience, it's broken and grateful for another opportunity. Repair jobs, you know, people who want to repair their reputation. So I'm getting more and more fucking morbid about this whole situation. I'm not confident anymore. I'm very excited by the names that we are linked with, and they're not the ones that are out there at the moment. Believe me, if I was to reveal what those names were, you'd be over the moon. You'd be excited, but I don't want to get you excited, because now I've thought about it. I don't believe that Sullivan will be able to get any of these names over the line. I don't think he will. We'll end up with a third choice, fourth choice, fifth choice, because the minute he sits down and talks to these people, he'll fuck it. He will. They'll see straight through him. Why would you, if you was a man at the top of your game, with your reputation is very important to you, and you want to build and you want to, you want to bring success to the club that you're at. That's your passion. Why would you work for Sullivan? Why? Where is he proven? Where is he proven that he gives people the tools to do that? He doesn't do it. He's fucking useless. Like I said, he had an opportunity with Tim Steidten. We're never going to get this again. We're never going to get somebody with the profile of Tim Steidten to even take a chance, a risk on working at West Ham. It's reputational damage. That's what you're risking. You know, you kind of you're going in and you're swimming with the sharks. Why would you do that? Working for a man at a big club, admittedly, but you're working for a man that controls the reins, that has no ambition at all. So, no, look, I'm feeling very downbeat on it all at the minute. I'm not even confident that if we got beat 5-0 against Man United, Sullivan would do anything, providing the teams below us lost, you know. Providing they lose and they keep us at that bottom three, we can just keep losing. It don't matter. As long as there's 3 worse teams. This is how I'm feeling now. I've been reading all your comments, and you can see I've been getting a bit carried away. I've been reading your comments. I've been having conversations with John and the like, and it's brought me back down to earth again, and I'm thoroughly depressed and fucking sick of everything West Ham now. This is the lowest I've felt about West Ham. Seriously, so it's the lowest I've felt after 2 years of soul-sucking football with David Moyes, and then the enjoyment and the anticipation of change. All the new players coming in, and then to get this. It's just a realisation that just nothing is ever going to change. What's the point? What's the point? This is it's just fucking depressing. And I realise this video is depressing, but I'm telling you how I really feel now. Today, this is how I feel. And I would love nothing more than for Sullivan and Brady to leave this club and never return. But he's never going to go. Well, he will one day. But then it will probably get handed over to his fucking wet behind the ears, clueless son, who's got a nice personality, but he ain't his dad. So that'd be a fucking disaster. We're never going to be rid of him. We're never going to be rid of him. He's I'm just fed up with it. But look, anyway, that's it from me. I hope you enjoyed my very cheery Friday video, but this is where I currently am. I'm not one for gaslighting. When I'm positive, I'm being honest. It's how I feel at that time. But I've had that sort of sucked out of me. I hope we win on the weekend. I hope we do. We're playing against a basket case team, the same as us. So anything could happen. We could beat them. They could beat us. I don't think the outcome really fucking matters. It isn't like he's going to get sacked if we lose. Yeah, it's getting harder to do this now. I think I'm fast approaching that point. If things don't change, where I'll be washing my hands of it. Not just talking about the YouTube channel. I'm talking about West Ham. It's been coming since we left Upton Park. It just feels like we're coming to a climax now. You kind of that hope and that optimism for change has been ripped away this time. After Moyes to this, it's just a realisation that we're just fucked. Nothing's going to change ever. Happy Friday. Speak to you all soon. Come on your irons.